and welcome to today's episode of Thrive Not Survive, where we share tips from around the world about how to thrive and not just survive during these uncertain times. So, I'm your host, Chantel, and I'm so excited to be here tonight with Pat. And pronounce your last name. I should have asked you before we hit
That's
live.
okay. It's easy. It's Roque, like okay.
I love it. Pat
You'll-
Roque. She is the rock star transformation coach, and she teaches smart, successful leaders how to enhance your professional reputation and elevate your career status as an expert in your field. And fun fact, Pat has worked at home since 1998 and
No,
has been
88,
88. Oh my goodness.
32 years.
1988 and has been the go-to expert at leading virtual teams since before 9/11. And 9/11 is probably significant to you. I mean, it's significant to everyone, but you probably add that to some of your marketing stuff because you are based kind of in the East Coast in the Jersey area. Is that right?
Yes, about 17 miles west of New York City.
Oh,
Absolutely.
that's awesome. So, talk to us a little bit about what is going on because I'm based in Kansas, and a lot of my audience is kind of Midwestern. And so, what is it like there on the East Coast with COVID-19?
Oh, it's so much fun. No, it's really not. Um, I am blessed to live a laptop life. I've been doing that since 1988. So I was doing virtual teams, leading virtual teams before the technology was virtual. So basically, I would talk my way into being the VP or marketing for smart, successful baby boomer entrepreneurs and business executives. And I'd say, look, I don't want to come sit at a desk in your place, but you can have a desk for me if you want, but I'm going to come in and out and we're going to agree to um, deliverables and results. And I'm going to be developing a cadence with you, and I will show up on an appropriate cadence, but I'm not going to sit at a desk. And I would just do that over and over. So I've always lived a laptop life. So right now I am with two homes, one in New Jersey, right outside of New York City, which is where I was born and raised and started my company 32 years ago, which sounds crazy because I'm so young.
Absolutely.
And yeah, right. I was in diapers, obviously, Chantal. And
Yeah,
then,
you started
uh,
this thing in the womb, obviously.
yeah, I think so. And I now am coming to you live from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
Oh, very cool.
So I manifested my condo of my dreams overlooking the ocean, steps from the beach, and I just found out about an hour ago that the beaches are officially closed, the golf courses are closed. So we're about, so Italy's a couple of weeks behind China. The New York Metro is a few weeks behind Italy,
Okay.
and the Carolinas are probably a few weeks behind the New York Metro.
Hmm.
So there is definitely a lag, and I think you'll see it head back toward the middle of the country, the pockets where there's much more breathing room and space and things, less populated. So I get to live it from both ends because my 89-year-old mother is up there. My mother in law passed away March 3rd, literally right at the beginning of this, and we were not able to give her a proper funeral. She was cremated, and we had we had the funeral home take care of it, but literally we couldn't tend. And that was March 3rd. That was early in the month. So now it's to the point no one's allowed ever except the priest or religious person, whoever is doing a little singular service. So it's changed everything from birth to death, truly, and everything in between. And it is a minute by minute, every hour, every single day at least. There's some other, you're waiting for the shoe to drop. Well, now this is a constant shoe dropping. But it's similar, eerily similar in some ways to 9/11 because it was this catastrophic thing that impacted the world and brought terror to people, whether you were right next to it and saw the smoke like we were able to, or you were out of mind but still able to turn on the TV and watch the towers fall. We all, as Americans and global citizens, were united. And so we've got to think that way now about how united we really are and try to keep our wits about us and try to realize how truly important this is because it is truly a pandemic. It's not just flaky little words that don't mean much. It's not a scare tactic someone's just come up with. I mean, um, We've got a one of my golf partners up in New Jersey has a 25-year-old son that had to be airlifted down to Philly and given clinical trial and was in a coma, and he's
Oh
on
my
the mend
goodness.
finally. But we've got friends and like family members, friends have their family members who are hospitalized or were hospitalized. And one of the country music singers, they have a big country music festival down here, and I heard last night one of the lead acts, the gentleman, passed from COVID.
Oh my
So
goodness.
this is real, and it
Mm.
sounds like it's going to be a long time. It's not going to be. I mean, it's only been a couple of weeks. I came down here 2 weeks ago. It feels like 2 months ago, and I love it here. Don't get me wrong, but it's definitely a strange new frontier.
Wow. So there, like, our state just issued a shelter at home statewide that started today. It got announced this weekend, and like our county had done it. We were a few days into it before the governor came on and said statewide. So are you guys under a shelter at home type ordinance?
I believe so. The only thing really that we now my son works for NBC television. He got a new job. He graduated college in May. We were on Good Morning America together talking about landing the job. We were with the sharks from Shark Tank, Barbara and Robert.
Oh
And he said,
wow.
"Oh no, this is what I want to do. I want to work, be a TV producer." And he just landed his dream job at the news here in Myrtle.
Awesome.
And we were like, "Oh, it's not New York, but okay, we'll do it." So he got to move to the beach in February and do his trial. And they were supposed to wait 90 days and 2.5 weeks, and they hired him. So he is an essential worker because
Mm.
he's producing the news, which is
Mhm.
crazy. So he gets to come and go from here to work back and forth. And my husband does from here to Publix, which is our version of ShopRite, our supermarket. And I have a puppy. So I walk that dog for 4 walks an hour each day, at least, because that's our last little piece of sanity. Because other than that, we are not going anywhere. And the beach is across the street. So up until a couple of hours ago, an hour ago, whatever, we were at least able to go to the beach, bring your own chair and sit down. You're not touching anyone or anything and keeping the distance. But apparently they just stopped it. I think, as soon as you have people abuse any privilege or not follow direction. I mean, this is serious stuff, but
Mhm.
I'm just worried that people are going to really be bunkers after. If this is 2 weeks of it, multiply it times 2, 4, 6, 8. It's going to be a long haul.
Oh man. That is interesting to process.
It's
um,
really overwhelming, and then you watch
yeah,
people freak out, and I'm like, listen, you can freak out, but we're all in it together. We're all freaking out in our own way at our own moment.
absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
It's that moment of the realization when you go to do one little normal thing and you suddenly realize that's not happening,
Mm,
right?
so true. Yeah, today's my first day out of self quarantine after returning from a vacation in Aruba. I had to do a 14-day self quarantine, and now like everyone's like, "Are you excited? Like you're out of quarantine?" And I'm like, "It's no different. I can't go anywhere. I can't do anything." I'm like, it doesn't
Well,
matter.
you got a nice vacation out of it. Was it
Oh, it was
already was
beautiful.
everything going on before you went though? I mean, was it a little crazy?
We flew out the Thursday. It was Our flight was leaving kind of like right around the time Trump was announcing that flights coming from Europe were going to stop that Sunday, and we were coming back on Monday. And so we were like, it'll be fine because we were Aruba and there was no cases down there or anything. And so we made it back in plenty of time. And yeah, there was, like, kind of hype on the way there, like, in the airports, but then once we got there, nobody was worried about it. Occasionally, people would check in. There was a lot of people in our group from New York, because it was a business trip through my, boyfriend's work, and their main office is in New York, so they were really keeping tabs on extended family and giving updates and things like that, and then we were checking in with
Hmm.
our Kansas people, and they're like, "I don't know, I think it's a hoax. People are buying way too much toilet paper. This is silly. Have fun." And, but then we landed and, like, everything just escalated very quickly, and we were like, "Oh, okay, good thing we got back."
I know, right? It's crazy, and it's
Yeah,
going to be for
yeah,
a while. But
I
this too we shall survive, right? That's what we're here to talk about.
Absolutely. So that's a perfect segue. So tell us a little bit about how like you are choosing to lean in and thrive during this time.
Sure. So my background in having expertise as a work from home leader, I did my master's thesis on it in 2000 before 9/11. So I've been teaching organizations and teams and individuals how to lead from the front, working from home, how out of sight does not equal out of mind, how to stay visible, how to stay engaged, how to keep productivity and employee engagement going, all those things for decades.
Wow.
So it really this is my time to shine because I've got all this information that has been bubbling up. If I do a lot of work with the media. I'm a media expert on it, and so I've been saving articles and producing things, and I produced this glorious piece last year that said how to convince your boss to let you work from home.
Nice.
And I'm like, I don't think we need to do as much convincing anymore. So, everything's changing by the minute. I'm changing copy and updating things second by second. But I had about 4 nights in a row I couldn't sleep because I kept feeling compelled, like, how can I serve? Who can I serve? What can I serve? What should I be doing? Because I've got the goods. Who needs help? How do I help them? So I decided to tithe my time for 2 straight weeks, and I showed up at 2 o'clock every weekday for 2 straight weeks with an open forum. I called it Career Coaching Corner. Tomorrow's actually the last day,
Okay.
2 p.m. Eastern, and it was an open call. I invited people. If you're an expert, come and share your expertise. If you've got questions or concerns, bring those along too. Bring your family, bring your friends, invite your team. And in the middle of it, I invited my own mastermind people. I'm doing a teaching folks how to do Zoom for a church group for their Bible study. They're doing their prayer groups with Zoom, and I'm going to teach them all how to use Zoom more efficiently. I did a workshop for the Meadowlands Regional Chamber of Commerce, which is oh gosh, I'm thinking it's 3 or 4 or 5,000 members outside of Manhattan, right outside New York City. And so they had an economic development, crisis management workshop, and they brought me on as the guest to keep people calm and motivated and stuff. So
Wow.
bring one, bring all. And I still do open invitation. If you have a group or need help, I'll speak to you or I'll speak to your group or your church or your scouts or your whomever. But it really felt like we needed a safe place, and we needed a no judgment zone, and we needed structure but unstructured, if that makes sense. Because I wanted to start it with 10-minute tips, but not monopolize the whole conversation. It wasn't about me, it's about me being a facilitator to serve others. So I've had folks that came in. One of the gentlemen, Jackie Simmons is his name, he came on and talked about how this is really challenging for folks with addictions, for
Mm,
example, or mental challenges, mental health challenges, right?
absolutely.
Because this is enough to set us all off.
Oh,
Never
yeah.
mind people who are a little more predisposed, and we needed to be all sensitive to it. I do a lot. I am a working mom. My kids are in their 20s now, but I started my business before my kids were a thought, never mind born. And then my second was special needs growing up. So, I mean, there's a lot of different challenges that I've learned how to face. How do we incorporate you're good at working from home and this was your place, let's just say, like mine, and now I've got 4 people living here. And my husband works as crazy, if not crazier. He's in finance and corporate restructuring and mergers and bank loans coming in and all those things. So his business is incredibly busy. So he and I are just vying for quiet, noise blocking headphones and things like that. So the tithing came in, create a safe place, be there consistently. So I've been there every day, 2 p.m. consistently, whether I have a dozen people, 2 dozen people, 5 dozen people, or 5 people. Didn't matter. As long as one showed up, I'd be there for them. And we talk, start off with a topic, and then see what's on their mind, and then go from there. Because what happened is, if you have a question, I'm sure 1,000 other people have the same question. We helped people. One was given an offer for a job in her company, and she didn't know if she should take it and move up right now. Was that a scary thing to go from an doer to a manager, in her words? and we
Yeah.
talked through that, and some of the people on the group even helped check her resume. I mean, it was really collaborative spirit. And then we've had a couple of people get job interviews. One of the ladies has two job interviews, one tomorrow and one on Wednesday, from when we started 2 weeks ago, so we
Oh,
coached her out
wonderful.
loud. Another one had terrible Zoom etiquette. She
Mm.
knew that. She'd never been on it before, so we taught her how to go from the dark, so here, watch, I'll show you how bad this is. Ready? So, right? Whole different look. And the
Mhm.
more I turn the lights on, the lights off, it gives you a whole different look than if you have the tools. So I actually shared um, my Amazon shopping list. Basically, it's a little productivity worksheet
Ooh,
because it was all, you know what? I'll drop it in the thing if you want. It was all
yes.
like fast, easy tips. I'll drop it in the chat if you want me to. It's a really long link. It's not even shortened. It's just literally my list, but it's the fast, easy tips that, here we go. Get link. Does that do it? Let's try this. Oh, that's a really long link, but let me see. Try that. It's basically my productivity booster pack, my shopping list of the things that I found that really were awesome to help thrive, not survive. So the light ring. What if somebody picked one up for like 15 bucks? I just saw one now. They're like $99 on sale for 50.
What?
So
Oh my
I
goodness.
know.
Yeah,
I
mine
know.
like
But
50.
the backdrop like you're talking about, like you have right there. How do you find those things? How do you make your
Mhm.
bathroom look like a home office? You can put
Yeah,
that thing up and you can pretty much operate from just about anywhere. So,
absolutely.
I had a beautiful space set for myself, and now I find myself in a little teeny corner trying not to be too loud, noise blocking headset, battery pack, making sure you have a drink handy, all the things you need to be able to do. Make sure you have your power cords, all of them, that everything's charged. So, teaching people how to do their interviews on Zoom. So, we had literally somebody had a phone call. So, I told her to put the Zoom camera on anyway and put her questions up in front of her so
Hmm,
that she's looking at you, just like we're looking into the camera now, but she's got all of her stuff right there. One of my clients came on and he was great because he was interviewing for jobs and it didn't come through and he started to get worried because he's in construction in the New York City area, which is crazy. And contracts were canceling.
right.
And he said that he took all the things we learned and he went to his boss proactively and said, "Hey, by the way, I noticed everyone's coming to me and I keep training people on how to work from home and helping them. Can you please make me? I'll be the director of the work from home task force." He
Nice.
gave himself a crown and they
Yeah.
went for it. So he's now the quarterback of this entire thing for this huge company. And it's really exciting to watch him step into the light, take a leadership role. He's sitting with the C suite, making decisions and making recommendations and then implementing
Wow.
across the team. So, tithing is important because it feels good. And then other people know they're not alone and you're not alone. And leading from the front is important because you have the choice to go hide your head under the covers and pray that it swishes over, or stick your head in the sand, but now that's off limits too, or step into the light and be engaged and try to make a difference and try to get 1% better, do one thing better every day. So we really learned a thousand things. We had all different folks, all different industries, just really sharing good tips or pouring their heart out or crying or laughing or starting out crying and laughing by the time they're done. We practiced introductions, the art of the introduction. How do you do that? We talked about rocking recommendations. So, kind of really went through a beautiful array of how to stay visible. Why does it matter? My kids are freaking out. I said, get your kids and put them on the Zoom with us. Let them come on. I've trained more people's kids. Honestly, truly, if they're curious and they're walking around in the background, invite them in, pull up a chair and let them sit. Your puppy's engaged. My one virtual assistant's got an 18-month-old. I'm like, put him on your lap. Let's talk to Nick. And I blow him kisses, and then we keep going, and it's great.
Wow.
So, gotta step up. You gotta find ways to help in different ways. It's a chance to think differently, don't you think, Chantal?
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
Howard, what are you doing? Tell me what you're doing.
Well, this, um, so I had done back in, oh gosh, did I connect with you on the Reach Live, Advance Your Reach? Is that how
Hmm.
we know each other? Yeah. So back in May, about a year ago, I was in Denver with other Reach Live people learning how to share your message on different stages. And I
Mhm.
had this vision of, I'm going to connect with people from all over and we're going to share how to create a life you love. And we're going to do these Facebook Lives so people can see and interact. It's more personable than a podcast. But then I can take the audio and put it on a podcast. And yeah, that was a year ago. And our first one was Friday. You're my fourth one. We had a
Oh,
Friday, Saturday, Sunday,
wow.
Monday.
That's
So
great.
yeah,
Awesome. I'm honored.
yeah. So I'm so
That is
glad that
great.
to be connected in communities like that where I just put out an idea and an application link and it filled up. I have 11 people already and several from the Advance Your Reach community. And so I know everybody is quality speakers and doing amazing things with a passion of serving others. So
Mhm.
it's
Exactly,
great.
right?
Yeah, it's a great
That's
way to
great.
connect.
And people are having to shift gears and do things a little bit differently, so sometimes they're finding themselves with doesn't feel like more time necessarily, but it sort of is, right? Because we're not commuting anywhere.
Hmm.
So I keep trying to tell people this is the time to shine. Step into the light, my friends, because you've got time. There's no excuse not to take inventory of what matters and to really pay attention to your strengths and your skills and to go into that. Be present in those moments. Be present with your family. Like when we're done with this, I'm going to shut the laptop off. I'm going to shut the light off. I'm going to go sit and I'm going to have dinner with my family. I've got them here together. My son was like, "Mom, we haven't been lived together under the same roof for more than a long weekend in a long time." I'm like, "I know it's going to be scary. It'll be fun. It'll be good."
So there's how many of you living
There's
in
4 of us.
Fairview? And you're in
And
a condo in Myrtle Beach right
we
now.
are. So I have to say I'm spoiled because I've got a beautiful view outside my balcony overlooking the ocean. So I have that and my puppy's here. So there's 4 of us plus the puppy. Um, and so we do get to go out for walks. So our walks are amazing and that's at least necessary and appropriate. And you still have to keep your social distance and all those things, but it's at least we can do that. Um, It's gonna be it's hard. My mom is 89, she's up in New Jersey, but my brother and mother are in a home, they were in a two-family house, so at least I know she's got someone who's healthy and can get around and can help, whatever, our families are all sprawled out, but I think that we need to make the best of the situation and find ways to make it the best, and that is my mission, and that's why I was excited that you brought me on because truly the thriving part, it's true. It's possible. It's not super fluff BS nonsense pie in the sky and let's ignore reality. It's not that.
Mhm.
But um, if you're one of those people that chooses not only to see the glass half full, but to be grateful every day for the glass, you will find moments and opportunities in these difficult times to stop and reevaluate. I got really sick last year. I had torn my Achilles on a golf course,
Oh,
which doesn't
goodness.
sound that big a deal. It's, physical injury, no big deal. And that was May. And then in August, I had blood clot in my leg, which is really bad. And I had a dozen in my lungs and I almost died, like last rites from the priest, the whole bit.
My goodness.
Yeah, scary when they start going, "Do you have an advance directive? And who's your next of kin? And do you want a priest, a rabbi, or a minister?" And I'm like, "What? Do I need one?" They're like, yeah, which would you prefer?" And I'm thinking, oh, crud, this is real. I said, "I'm not ready to go." They're like, "But who would you like me to call?" They
Uh-huh.
kept saying, "No, but who? You need someone here with you. Who do you need now?" And I was like, "Oh my goodness." So I got really, really sick and I made it through. And then I got sick in November back in the hospital. So during the beginning, I did Advance Your Reach.
Mhm.
And during the first week of it, I was in the hospital the entire first week.
Oh my goodness.
I had time. I was reflecting. I kept thinking 2020 is going to be a great year.
Right. We all did. We
Yeah.
came in so optimistic.
Oh, I did. I came in guns a blazing, but I restart. So I had a year, I guess, ahead of a lot of people to start to pause and think about how I would do it differently because I wasn't feeling well. So I was not running around as much. I was not looking to get on a plane as many times. Like even during Adventure Reach, I was already focusing on being present and being omnipresent, but doing it in a way that preserves my health and my sanity, and I'm not running around so much, and something that I could do to elevate my income and my status and help more people without the frenetic craziness. And so I started putting a program together 9 months ago that's launching tomorrow. Who knew? In the middle of all of this. And so I decided to do that 2 week tithing just because everything wasn't crazy.
Right.
But it was meant to help people think out loud about what to do to thrive and not just survive. And now the pandemic's here. So, in some strange ways, it's more meaningful than absolutely ever before, because now's the time you need to lift yourself up and look at things differently and do things differently and take action or not. It's your call. But
Mm.
I've been planning this for 9 months and here it is tomorrow. So it's kind of bone chilling and exciting all at the same time. A little serendipitous, but it'll help people really figure out what they can do to keep moving ahead and to wake up with confidence and have something positive to look forward to and to be productive and an otherwise disruptive, crazy, You can look at how crazy, I don't know, does your house get a little nuts at times with everything?
I live alone with my cat, so it's not
Oh,
too
all
crazy.
right. And then you have the flip side of it. It's like, okay, it's too quiet.
Right.
But people are doing a lot of virtual meetups. I teach people how to do virtual coffee, which is my version of a virtual meetup, because how long does it take to have a cup of coffee? So we're doing that for 4 years. So
Wow.
the best practices that people need now are things that we've been kind of really working on for a while, and they work. And you know what's going to happen? They will work going forward,
I think,
right?
yeah, there's been a lot of discussion in the education world of, okay, we had about a week's notice to completely turn this 150-year-old practice up on its head and completely do it different. And there's no way when things go back to normal that things we're doing today aren't going to stick in some way. Like we are shifting the future.
Oh, yeah, right? Future shaping everything.
Hmm.
The
So it's
whole how to
terrifying but
convince why to
exciting.
beg people to do the remote thing. Well, now you know it's doable. Is it preferable? Maybe not across the board every day, all the time, but I think it's going to open up a whole world of possibility. I think it's going to change the landscape of transportation. It's going to change the landscape of what a global community really means. It's going to change the landscape of communal living. I'd be curious to see what happens with, are people going to start moving out of some of those really densely populated cities and realize fresh air is actually a good thing, and maybe working virtually where real estate's more expensive and you have a little more space to breathe and you know grass under your feet maybe might start to sound a little more appealing, because I down here there's the grocery stores are fully stocked. The only thing that we don't have much of is toilet paper, and then we do get that too. I mean, we've got plenty, but that's the one thing that's still selling. But there's fresh meats and produce, like everything is fully stocked. And I look at pictures of the supermarkets and things up in New Jersey, and they're literally barren.
Wow. Still.
People are buying tinfoil like they'll never see it again,
Oh
like
my
all
goodness.
kinds of stuff. Oh yeah, all kinds of stuff. So
Here, I feel like, and mind you, this is coming from someone who's been quarantined and has not set foot in a store for probably 3 weeks. I've been using Instacart, but just from the social media posts and stuff, it seems like when we get a new announcement, like, oh, our county's going in shelter at home, people panic, people go, they hoard a little, and then they're home and they're fine, and it gets restocked overnight, and then it's okay.
mhm.
There's been things that I order on Instacart that they call me from there and they're like, "There's no potatoes." I'm like, "Okay, I'm not gonna die. I just won't have potatoes this week. Whatever. They're not that good for me anyway."
Right, right, yeah.
Like, then hold the cheese and sour cream too, because they're no good to me without the big potato.
Yeah,
um,
exactly.
yes. So for anyone who's watching, like what would be the like a tip. So you are obviously very passionate and lit up about people finding their superpower and serving others during this time and leaning in and growing and using this
Mhm.
as a great opportunity. What what are some tips for how to start with that?
So the secret sauce to thriving, coronavirus or not, the formula, the magic formula is the same. It's what you do with it that might need some modification. I think our attitude needs modification. So the three key ingredients to any type of a quantum leap, any type of movement forward: mindset, skill set, tool set. So mindset is first, and that comes to play where you get to stop and pause and take inventory of your life. What do you want your legacy to be? What really matters? What are the things you would do if time and money were no object at all? What lights you up? What do people thank you for profusely? And you say, "Oh, that was nothing, no problem, my pleasure." And they're like, "No, no, but you don't understand, Chantal. You just saved me blank. Time, money, aggravation. You put it in a way, words I could never have come up with. You're a genius." And you're like, "Oh, no, it's not a big deal." We all have those things. They're different for all of us. So understanding your strengths, understanding what really matters, your true north, because it's not just about money. And I think people will find that even in these dark moments, it's never just about money most of the time. Um, it's the freedom it represents or the educational opportunities it represents. Well, guess what? There's a lot of good opportunities out there that are not, you know, the tens and hundreds of thousands of dollars that things used to cost. If you're smart, um, there's a lot of robust resources available, and now you got to be a little scrappy and use them and find them. So, one is setting your career GPS and understanding what do you want your long tail game to be, because this too shall pass inevitably. So, 4th of July, how do you want to be able to look back at 4th of July? Like that's around 90 days from now, ballpark. How do you want to look and feel? How do you want to physically feel? What would you want to have accomplished? What do you want your family to think of you and how you performed? Because don't forget, we set the bar and people are watching. You doing this show, you're setting the bar, you're setting an example. People are like, damn, look at her go. She's awesome. Right? So, what do we want our accomplishments to have been? So, mindset is one, that's career GPS. Two is skill set. And that's when you get to stop and pay attention. I've always wished I knew a little bit more about American Sign Language. I wanted to learn another language. Maybe I could take Italian tapes and learn something, or Spanish, or it doesn't matter, but something. Um, what are the skills for the role, your future role? By the time the holidays roll around and New Year's going into 2021 rolls around, what do you want your life to look like then? Because I'm hoping at that point we're all laughing like this is some bad effing dream. Like what a nightmare. But we've came out the other side. So what does your other side look like? Right? So mindset is one. Skill set is paying attention to that and connecting the dots from that person you were to who you want to be in the next chapter. And if it's not marrying up, if they're not matching, what are you going to do about it? Right? And then the third part is tool set. And that's where you take the magic of those first two awareness moments and start to tell your story. It's about connecting with people. It's about having virtual coffees or virtual happy hours or leading a book group or this that you're doing or my career coaching corner. It's showing up and being seen and being heard and being a leader from the front. What does that feel like for you? And it could be small little things. Sometimes God taps in a whisper, and sometimes he bangs you over the head with a sledgehammer. This pandemic is going to give us opportunities for all of those moments, I think, right? So, does your LinkedIn profile adequately tell your story? Now, I do a lot in the professional marketplace. So, I'm more of I'd say a LinkedIn person, if that makes sense. I'm working with more career professionals, business owners versus whatever. So, they're more educated, they are a little bit more seasoned in their careers, et cetera. And yet I'll volunteer and tithe as a mentor and do this program and do a student version of it. So, how can you take your story and make an impact for others? Who desperately needs your gift? And how do you deliver? So, Advance Your Reach is one of those ways that we chose to hone how to be better at telling our story. LinkedIn, is it a resume? Is it a job search? Is it engaging your champion? So, mindset, what matters most, setting your career GPS, and know that that's going to change over time. We're not going to probably pick one thing and do it for the rest of our lives. The iteration will change. True? So, mindset, skill set, connecting dots and honing skills. Tool set, learning how to craft your story in a way that you can reach those people that you know are aching for whatever it is in your heart that you really have to share where you can make an impact.
So powerful. If you saw me looking down, it's because I'm taking notes. I'm not like
Yeah.
doodling down here.
If you give me the video, I use a tool called Searchy and it takes the transcription. It's pretty cool.
I heard of that. Stu McLaren. Is that who?
Yes. So
Yes.
it takes a transcription. So one of the things with this program that I'm launching tomorrow, we're going to do a 90-day cohort and teach people all 9 modules of what I just talked about. 3 modules in mindset, 3 in skill set, 3 in tool set. But I decided to show up and I'm going to deep dive teach them. Like I've had them in my academy. So either my VIP people have it up here for $25,000 or I had them sitting in the academy and it was complete DIY. And one of the things that popped in my head was that people need spirit and collaboration so they're not so alone. And just the way Advance Your Reach, right, with the 12 weeks and the live coaching, and then insert your questions and learn in a cohort. That's how I did my master's degree, same thing.
Mhm.
And that's how I'm doing another program right now. And so that is the style that I'm going to be delivering this so that people will have accountability and new friends and a cohort and not feel so alone. But one of the things it will have is a library of all of the recordings. And you know how we used to have that really great document that somebody took a lot of time to figure out and type up and pay attention to? With this new tool, Searchy, you can literally drop a widget in one of your course content modules and have a search thing. So you could type in the word Chantal, and anytime we answered one of your questions or asked you something or you engaged, it will go right to the spot in the video in the whole library. Like I helped someone the other day interview for Amazon. I've helped people get jobs at Amazon. Just let's say
Awesome.
they could search for Amazon. Let's say you were going to interview at Amazon. You could search for Amazon and go through the library, and it'll show you every single thing I ever taught about Amazon. It'll take you 2 minutes to hit the button, and you go right into the content, and it'll save hours and hours and hours and hours. You don't have to ever dig or search ever again.
That's amazing.
It's kind of a cool new way to catalog. It's like I've become my own Google in that respect, and it is Google SEO ranked apparently too. So pretty cool
That.
stuff. So it's just some of those kinds of moments of making people have resources because now more than ever we're in this together.
Mhm. It sounds like the program that you're launching tomorrow is like just so in depth and it's going to provide so much value. So if you'd be willing to share, it says my internet connection is unstable. Am I back?
Hmm. You're
Am I back?
there. You were
Okay.
fine.
Okay. I'm
You,
used
you
to
didn't
when
get
I
wonky
see that
wonky.
bar, people are like, I can't hear you. um,
Yeah, well, if it gets bad, then sometimes we have to just ditch the video and keep talking. It's that's the only way to save it every now and then, but
there you
we'll
go.
try.
The
Yeah.
notification went away. But I was just wanting to know if we could share a link, if anybody was interested and wanted to get more information about your program.
Sure, absolutely. So it's I can put it in the chat if you want. It's
Okay.
rockonsuccess.com.
Awesome. And once you type it
Everything
into
I do is the magic thing is rockonsuccess.com/. So tomorrow my workshop is going to be live at 2 o'clock Eastern,
great.
2 to 3:30, where I'm going to talk about the 3 career myths, how inertia is not your friend, and how to thrive, not just survive over the next 90 days. Interestingly
Awesome.
enough, which is funny because that's what it was always going to be. So when you invited me here tonight, I'm like, this is really serendipitous. I can't believe that she came and showed up out of the universe because we didn't really know each other, true?
Right. Yeah.
Showed up out of the universe the night before the launch to talk about the topic that I'm launching tomorrow. But okay, thank you, God, and thank you,
Yep.
Chantal. So yeah, we're going to be talking about it deep dive, and then I'm going to be making an introduction for anybody that's looking for a really cool way to be able to do that with a spirit of camaraderie. And I'll give you one little hint: there is a buy one gift one opportunity that I'm going to share tomorrow, so that if people feel like they know someone or love someone or met someone who might feel the same way they do and are looking for a piece of, professional development on steroids. I mean, it's going to be a master's level training. It's
Hmm.
going to be a master's level training that's totally palatable, and tangible results start to finish. So I loved Adventure Reach. I loved what I'm doing now. I loved how I did my master's, and I felt like that's the right type of sharing at the right time. I did not know 9 months ago there was going to be a pandemic wrapped around
Right.
it. Who knew?
Who
So I
could have
basically,
predicted this? Yeah.
yeah, you know what? But I basically did though. I put a two-thirds scholarship. I dropped the pricing down to something that I felt was going to be completely palatable. So, well, it's not about money. I'm here to serve, and I felt like I had two choices: keep it at the premium rate that I was going to be doing and have fewer people, or just make it like super de duper kind of no brainer ish,
Hmm.
and be respectful of what people are going through, but give them hope and give them a reason and enough skin in the game to show up and to do the work. Because if you do things for free,
Hmm.
sometimes the one downside of that is that people don't always follow up. So, skin in the game to feel committed and engaged, and a cohort of people around to feel collaborative. There's actually going to be accountability buddies inside the group, which is kind of
Yeah,
cool. Now we go from there. It'll be fun. It'll be
that
fun.
sounds amazing. Very
And then we
exciting.
figure out the next iteration, what's going to happen in July, because we don't know.
Right.
We better all be out of quarantine by July. That's all I have to say. I'm sure we will. I'm sure we will. But the people who come into the program will walk out of the other side feeling confident. They'll have their swagger. They'll have accomplished some things that they would have never done otherwise. They'll have their portfolio will be spit and polished. Their LinkedIn profile will be singing its own song. Like all the things that they need to do to step into the light and lead from the front. And that to me is the best gift I could give other people. I know how to do it, so I'm going to do it. We'll
That's
see.
awesome. I love it.
We'll see.
Love that you're taking your skills, your talents, and your passions and just wrapping them all up and serving people.
Well, I did a lot of online learning and worked for universities and was an ambassador. When I did my master's, I became an ambassador and spoke all over the world for them. So I love helping other people shine the light on their genius. It's not about me. I'm just someone who pays attention and sees systems. I can see
Yeah.
patterns of success or failure and try to help you fail faster if you're going to fail, and try new things and just get better 1% every day. So that's what we need now. It's just, it's not like those pie in the sky crazy moments. I think we need to wake up and feel like I could do one thing today. I could do one thing today.
Yes.
I could do one
So
thing today. And tomorrow, I could do one thing tomorrow.
perfect.
Right? That's everything else seems a little bit overwhelming and bigger than my fear, and I think we could do it. We're all in it together. It's all I keep saying. We're all in this together. So this was great. I really appreciate your taking time and including me in your journey,
Yes.
sharing your
Thank
message.
you. Thank you for joining us and sharing so much wisdom and because you have so much experience to draw from. And so I'm hoping everyone watching live and catching the replay later just gets so much out of this and is inspired to thrive, step into your power, serve others, and use this time to thrive. So I love it.
Absolutely. My pleasure. Yes, that is it. So
Okay,
give
so let
yourself
me.
some grace, right? It's all about grace too. Having some grace and giving yourself a little
So
break.
so much so. So we do have a couple people on live with us. If you
Great.
guys have any questions, go ahead and pop them in the chat here on Facebook, and I can read them out loud. Questions, comments, ways that you are thriving and stepping into your genius. And there's, I'm sure you know, Pat, the lag time.
Oh, it's so much fun, isn't it? Yes.
Yes. Okay, Bonnie says, love all the information. Thank you, Pat and Chantel. Virtual coffee. Ooh, so that is a way, Bonnie, that you could connect with others even in this time is social distancing. So that's a great idea. I like the virtual coffee. I
Oh,
did.
you know what I'll
Mhm.
do?
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Oop, I didn't mean to speak over you. I do apologize. Why don't you let me gift them? I have a little training I did on how to do it. Would they like
Yes,
that?
please. Oh,
All
I would
right.
love that. Thank you.
All right. Yeah. It'll take you 10 to 15 minutes to go through the training and set it up, and you will save hours and hours every week, and you will thank me forever. It's one of the best things I ever did. It's so simple. You'll be like, "Oh my god, it's so simple" after it's done.
Mhm.
When you see how simple it is, but it streamlines everything because you can get people on the phone and you'll understand what they want, their intention. So you might want to speak with someone about being a guest or collaborating or being a client, or you have your categories, we all do. So I have a form attached to mine and it'll say, is it a personal hello call? Is it about collaboration? Would you like to perhaps hire me as a coach or hire me as a speaker? And so the guests will tell me what their intention is and provide some information. And then this way I can accept the phone appointment or not, have the reminder come up right before. So, you're busy and then you jump to the next appointment. It shows up right in front of you. So now you can see exactly what they're doing. So this is a $97 training. I just gave you the back end link so you can go in for free. Oh,
Thank
and it
you.
also is going to have my resources in there. There's a Rock Your Resources. Yeah, my list of a bunch of the tools. A lot of the manufacturers of different technologies and apps are giving away a lot of free stuff. They're extending their trials. They're letting things run longer. There's all kinds of nice little perks and benefits, especially for teachers, government workers, healthcare. So if you ever wanted to create your own online course, I mean, maybe you're still busy converting. Who are you teaching right now, Chantal? What grade are you?
Um, I've been out of the classroom for 3 years. I was an instructional coach for the last three, and this is my first year as a professional learning coordinator
Oh,
for
nice.
special ed staff across 9 districts in our area. A big
Wow.
job. It's been a busy couple of weeks. Um, but
Yeah.
yes, on the business, my this side gig that I'm building, I do have a book. I just launched a podcast, and I have two courses on Teachable, and I also have a one-on-one coaching program. And I'm working with my business coach too. I'm like you. I want to. How do I serve? How do I make my small amount of
Mhm.
time go far? How do I build in that accountability and at a price point that's reasonable with the uncertainty of people's incomes and stuff? So I want to move from the one-on-one coaching and offer a group coaching.
Yes.
So I'm working on how to build that and how that all goes together.
It's so important. It's the best way to have sanity and quality of life and something that's a little more sustainable. Because the thing that gets hard, it gets exhausting to run around like a chicken with your head cut off. It really does. And so, like I said, I got sick and had to learn it the hard way. And I'm lucky I came through the other side healthy, but that's the other reason now. Like, this is all serious stuff. I have compromised lungs. Like, I need to be careful.
Mhm.
So God tapped and I'm listening. And that's why tomorrow we're going to have a live free training and then we're going to share and see who feels compelled. If they like your spirit and they like the energy and they like the tips, imagine having that for 90 days
Mhm.
of somebody who's got your back. And we'll go from
Absolutely.
there. Yeah, yeah. It's
Very
fun.
powerful.
Any more
Very.
questions?
Let's see. There's no more questions in the chat. If anybody has any, throw them in there. You've provided an abundance of freebies for everyone. One thing that I've been doing to try to encourage people to show up live is I've been raffling off a seat to a upcoming gratitude workshop and
Oh,
that a
great.
virtual webinar that I'm doing late April. So for those of you on live, if you will guess a number between 1 and 20, the person who is closest, I'm going to write a number on a post-it. Okay, I've written it, pinned down. So pop a number in the chat and the person closest, I will email you the Eventbrite link to the gratitude webinar because it was supposed to be in person, and I could have panicked and been like, "It's canceled. What do I do?"
Yeah,
And I was
no.
like, "Guess what? Um, the room in person only holds 20. Zoom holds 99." So when I want to thank people for showing up live, I know time is very busy and it is one of our most valued assets. So, all right.
Only thing we can't make more of, right?
Exactly. We make more money, we can't make more time. So I value that people are spending their time with us. And Bonnie is the winner.
All right, good for you. Hey, you got to be in it to win it. There you go, Bonnie.
There you go. You
There
showed
is a
up.
lesson. Showing up counts. It's all you can do.
That is all you can do. Okay. So, Pat, in your last few moments with us, any last minute words of inspiration, advice?
Yes, always. So, this too shall pass. And I know that it's not easy. It's not easy for me. It's not easy for you, Chantal. It might look easy at times, but this is a time for us to band together. This is a time for us to live in a state of grace. And I mean kindness to other people, kindness to ourselves, to remember to keep breathing is best way for coronavirus. You're not breathing. It's really breathing is important and it matters. So waking up every day and having a ritual for stretching, whether you pray or meditate or some form of reflection, but take the time. You've got the time. Take the time. I always say have those daily moments, especially think about it when you brush your teeth, because hopefully you brush your teeth at least twice a day. But be your own best friend. Say yes to yourself. There's so many things that are going to have to be juggled and accommodated and other people first. And we're all go givers. And I think we tend to help other people and put others first a lot. And even in the craziness, you deserve to shine the light on your genius and you deserve to be honored and respected as an expert in whatever it is you do. So, if you are hearing that little inner voice, some people call it God tapping, some people call it their gut instinct, the voice in their head, God, whatever you, the voice, I'll just call it that because we all have our version of it. But you deserve to pay attention and listen because the voice will get louder and louder until it becomes like a deafening scream in your ear. Don't wait until too late. Take action now. I always say this. This is my funny story. I think of it as I dream of Jeannie. When I was a little girl, I dream of Jeannie was on TV and she used to come out of the bottle and he could never get her back inside. And Barbara Eden used to cross her hands and blink and get at whatever she wanted. And all I keep thinking is when the genie pops out of the bottle, it's really hard to ignore her or shove her back in. Pay attention to your voice, your commitment, because it's almost like the Wizard of Oz. The answers to a lot of these questions are really deep inside of you, and you really just need someone to help give you perspective. So lean into your friends, lean into your coaches, lean into experts like you're having here on this podcast and others, but don't feel weak because you're reaching out and getting help. Feel strong because you're smart enough to gain perspective. Because while you're asking for help, I promise you other people have the same worries or concerns or questions. So don't underestimate your ability. That 1 inch can make such a difference. It could be the ripple that becomes a wave that becomes a tsunami of goodness. So Joe, go ahead and be that light and shine bright and have fun with it and try to be that beacon for others because we're all going to need it. We're all in it together.
Ugh, so true. I love it. So thank you so much. Just the comments in here are just saying thank you and woohoo and all kinds of things.
I have
So,
to do a watch party. I forgot to we forgot to share I forgot to share this over to my
oh,
Facebook, so I'm going to do a watch party with it, I
oh,
guess. There you
perfect.
go.
Perfect.
Multi-purpose.
There you go.
You're a
I know
great
as I
host,
was,
Chantal.
so thank you. I'm going to end the live stream real quick. So thank you everybody for joining us.